Yeah, another thing I was going to chat to you about. I'll have less vitriol on this. Is there's a bit more VR news recently. And I've got some stats here. I'm gonna see what you make of these.
Go on.
Press conference with Nvidia. They've estimated that less than 1% of PCs in use globally in 2016 will be powerful enough to run Oculus or Vive. That's what Nvidia said.
Less than 1%.
Yeah, which is still, I mean, that's still 13 million PCs.
Okay.
But obviously, because it's so huge. But supposedly rising to 100 million by 2020. I'm just going to and then as a comparison, there are already 40 million PS4s at the minute, which obviously that's PlayStation VR is going to, one of the big competitors.
Yeah.
How do you see this going? Do you think if VR takes off, do you think it's going to be a console thing, or do you think there's a viable market here in these sort of 13 million PCs?
Well, I think Oculus have kind of shot themselves in the foot with making it so bloody expensive. They've made it about as expensive as building a PC to run the damn thing. So I think it is going to be more of a console thing, especially to start with. But I mean, I don't know. I think there are also a lot of YouTubers at the moment who are jumping on the bandwagon, which helps. But whether that's more PC orientated or console orientated, I don't know.
I guess it's one of the things as well when it's kind of. I mean, I've not seen a lot of YouTube videos about VR yet, but it's kind of. I mean, I wonder if it's kind of like 3DS in the sense that you couldn't when the 3DS came out, you couldn't really advertise on TV that the fact that it was 3D without glasses. It's kind of a hard thing to get over because obviously the TV, it's like when you see adverts of 4K TVs and you're watching on you might not even watching on a 1080p TV. It's kind of a weird thing to advertise, or a perfume advert. I mean, it's the same thing, Watch this video and audio of a smell. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah. Well, you say that, but what I've kind of seen is they'll have it first person and them looking around and like doing stuff with their hands. So it's quite immersive in itself just to watch the video. And I'm sure as soon as it's not difficult to imagine, actually being in it. I'm sure it's completely different to how you think it's going to be. But
so they're kind of like reaction videos almost. Like you're watching 2D gameplay, but you're kind of seeing their reactions. Like if it's a horror game, I can see how it'd be funny, like Let's Plays, to see people falling out of their chairs and stuff like that.
Well, I've actually only been watching Nerdcube stuff, and he literally just plays the gameplay as a first-person thing. So it's quite, I don't know, it's quite interesting.
I think you're right about like price is going to be kind of quite a big thing.
Yeah, when it's like 500 quid or however much it is.
Yeah, it's going to be at least 450 at least, and then Vive is like the UK price is 689, which is obviously it's quite. I think it's niche at that stage. No matter how good it is, that's niche, man. As you say, you've got to factor in the cost of a rig powerful enough to actually power the thing as well.
Yeah.
Whereas PlayStation VR is coming in at 350, which obviously is comparable in price to the console itself. But even you think of the PS4, a PS4 and a PSVR is still cheaper than just the Vive alone. That's kind of
ridiculous.
But then I suppose on the other hand, it's like you see the specs do seem to come into it because obviously, as we said, there's 13 million this year going to be able to play it versus 40 million PS4s. But yeah, as I say, if by 2020 it's 100 million PCs, obviously, PS4 might approach that sort of user base, but it's going to start to look old. I think that's why. I mean, we've talked before that these PS4.5 rumors, and that's the way the rumor's been developing is basically that's part of the reason is that they kind of want to kind of almost keep up, so they're kind of getting it out now. Obviously, it's cheaper and it's on console, so it's accessible to people, and you've got a market, and then you can. You put up an upgraded console, so you're not sort of in a few years' time. People are like looking at the new PC ones, when they get a bit cheaper, and they're thinking, "Whoa, this is so much better than look at these console peasants over here."
Yeah. I think most people are going to have to wait at least a few years until they buy one. I know I will be. I'm not going to buy one on launch or whatever, because I can't afford to spend 500 quid on a thing that only works for a few games at the moment, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that's how a lot of people are going to see it. They're just going to go like, okay, it's got some interesting games and it'll be really cool to experience, but I can't afford it.
It's one of those. Well, I guess is the age-old question with like any sort of launch like this is like it's the same with consoles, isn't it? It's the same idea. When in order to buy the console, especially at launch when it's more expensive, is you have to have that kind of killer game. You know with like the Nintendo 64 had Super Mario 64, which is like a revelation. People thought, oh well, I'll buy the box. Or the original Halo game was selling Xboxes just to play that game. Whereas when you've got, as I say, PS4 40 million sold, but it's the same with the like Kinect games where last generation, you're segregating that market at least initially, because not everyone with a PS4, it's not a pack-in. Not everyone with a PS4 will have a PlayStation VR. You'll say that even if they sell 1 million in the first year, you're still only, if you're a third-party developer, you're looking at it. You can either make a traditional game,
Yeah.
sell it to 40 million people, or you can put it, you can sell it to 1 million people, and it's probably more expensive to develop and so much harder,
Yeah, yeah.